You guys, it is official. I mean, the news that we've been begging for, hoping for, crossing our fingers for. Bachelor in Paradise will return for season 4. We'll discuss the scandal with special guest Daniel Maguire right after this.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey you guys, I'm your host Kristina Zias. We are back for another Bachelor in Paradise exclusive. I'm here with Renee, Ariel.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we're so excited to have him here. You guys know this very special guest. He's the Canadian funny man. You've seen him on JoJo's season of The Bachelorette. You've seen him on Bachelor in Paradise season 3. Everybody welcome Daniel Maguire.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's going good, but it doesn't sound like there's anyone there. I mean, I can't see who I'm talking to. I got one person clapping.
That was me.
Listen, there are thousands of people here. Everyone's so excited to hear you, to see you. I don't think they could actually see you, but everyone's very excited that you're here with us.
There's crickets chirping there.
Okay, Daniel, this has been a huge day. I felt like we weren't going to hear anything else about the Bachelor in Paradise scandal. I thought it was kind of over for a while. And then all of a sudden they announced just a couple hours ago that Bachelor in Paradise will in fact resume filming season 4 after Warner Brothers' investigation found no evidence of sexual assault. What was your initial reaction when you heard this news?
I wasn't surprised one bit. I've talked to people in the last week or so. I've done some interviews with CNN and people and whatnot, and they asked me, kind of what goes on, and ask me some questions about drinking and partying and sex and all that stuff, and with the producers and what happens with them and stuff like that. And I said numerous times that a couple things. First off, no way in a million years would this guy sexually assault a female cast while producers are watching. Makes no sense whatsoever. And number two, that producers would sit back and watch and let it happen. It's just the fact that he was even brought up and that it got canceled, the show got canceled a bit, it just blows my mind that that something like this got started in the first place. But obviously, they had to take it serious because sexual assault's obviously horrible. So I'm glad that they figured out and found out that nothing was going on.
When you originally heard the news that broke, what did you hear? Did you hear exactly what we heard on the internet, or was it a different story that they told you?
Well, so I've got different sources. I've got some cast members, which obviously I can't say who, and I've got Reality Steve knows his stuff because I don't know how he figures everything out, but he knows everything. He knows everything. So everything he knows, I know basically. But basically, yeah, that and even what Demario said, I guess he kind of made a statement saying that like we hooked up, we were both drunk, and we fooled around. And there was some foreplay and stuff, and basically that show the video. Well, they'll prove my case. And so plus recently Raven and Jasmine, who were there, released statements saying that Corinne was making out with 4 or 5 dudes that day, and the both that Demario and Corinne were both drunk and they hooked up, and it was no big deal. And the next day they thought they even maybe a couple. There's no issue until maybe, I don't know how we went from no problem to a problem. And that's what people are still maybe curious about. Maybe like some questions were like maybe it was some producer that had an issue with it, or maybe Corinne felt guilty or that she had a boyfriend back home, and that I don't know.
But the thing is that Corinne isn't the one who filed this suit against misconduct. So, it's hard for people to place blame on her or say that, Corinne was guilty or Corinne was lying about all this, because she wasn't the one who filed this. A producer filed it. So for you to say that there's, you've never witnessed any misconduct on set, like what do you think could have possibly happened for this producer to feel so strongly, to question the other producers involved and to file a suit of misconduct with Warner Brothers?
Well, Corinne made a statement say that she was a victim. So, didn't she say, like, isn't that a saying that...
She did definitely make a statement that she was a victim, but that was after everything already came out. It wasn't her who initially contacted Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was a producer who did that.
And apparently there were 2 producers who reported the incident.
Yeah, so, the only thing I can think of is that one is that these producers or whoever it is, obviously maybe they have a vendetta against ABC or the company, or they're not happy with their job, they're disgruntled employees for whatever apparent reason, or they just maybe they lived underneath a rock and they never seen people hooking up before. I don't know, because I mean obviously there was no problem, so these people just those are the only two reasons I could possibly come up with. Maybe they wanted to sue or try to make money. I don't know.
Do you know if those two producers are still working on the show?
I have no idea, first off, who they are, the story behind it, but I couldn't believe it, and I can't believe them being still with it. They're probably done fast,
I mean, apparently, at least the producer who originally made the allegations of misconduct has disappeared off the face of the internet. I mean, I think that she's gotten so much hate and backlash for this.
Of course.
And I personally don't think that it was intended to be such a big deal, but it's
No, I don't think so either.
So do you think it was just okay, well, I don't like you, I think you're a bad producer, I think you should be fired from the show, so I'm going to tattletale on you to Warner Brothers?
Yeah, I have no idea. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know the inside story, but if I did, my two guesses, again, they're obviously not a happy camper. They obviously, disgruntled their employee, and or they have a vendetta, or they want to make money by trying to sue. I don't know. I just random ideas pop through my head, or I've been people talking, trying to piece things together. But again, it's really hard for me to say. These are just random thoughts.
Have you ever met Corinne or Demario?
No, I haven't. Just from watching on TV and hearing some stories about her.
So based on the stories from other castmates or what you've seen on TV, were you kind of surprised about the news of everything?
Not at all.
What did other castmates say about Corinne?
No, well, I just mean I'm not surprised that that she was the one involved in this situation. And that just from watching her on TV and on Nick's season and hearing that she's the same in person that she is on TV, and yeah, I mean, I'm obviously everyone's glad that she's safe, safe,
of course, yeah.
and nothing happened, and but now they're trying to figure out what I don't know, she's claiming to be the victim. I mean, she caused I guess maybe a problem here. I don't really know what happened. Again, who's that more at fault, the producer or Corinne?
So do you think that this news poses Corinne as a liar?
Yeah, I think so, because she could have easily said that no, Demario. I mean, the whole time she could have said no, instead of saying I'm a victim or whatever, and she could have been no, I don't know what's going on. I mean, instead of saying that the story or the statement she had said I'm victim, and it's everyone's worst nightmare. I mean, obviously that's right there saying that that she was sexually assaulted, which obviously wasn't the case.
Do you think there's a possibility that she truly was very drunk but okay with what happened until perhaps that producer spoke to her and made her think otherwise?
Yeah, no, could have definitely happened. I'm sure from what I heard that she was drunk. She obviously was hooked up, and the next day maybe the producer said something and was like, oh damn, yeah, I have a boyfriend back home, and maybe I shouldn't have done that, and supposedly the boyfriend made a statement the other day, which is interesting. I mean, it's just so weird that Corinne's there in the first place, is the fact that she has a boyfriend, but she's not the only one. I've heard that 3 or 4 other girls have a boyfriend as well.
So allegedly, apparently up to 5 contestants have boyfriends. Corinne,
yeah,
Kristina, Alexis, Astrid, and Whitney, which is probably half of the female cast, if not the majority of them, for sure. So,
I know. It just goes to show you they're not there for love,
Right. So now that the show is coming back, do you think this is an opportunity to recast? Do you think that these girls should be allowed back on, even though that they have boyfriends?
Again, it's not my thing to say. If I was producing, I wouldn't bring them back, obviously, because I mean, it just takes away from the genuality from the show. But I mean, more likely than not, they'll be back. Because, yeah, because there are a lot of girls to choose from, but they're the ones current from this season and whatnot.
For sure.
I mean, they're just looking for fame at the end of the day.
Right. I mean, as a viewer and as a Bachelor Nation fan, you love watching The Bachelor for all the drama and the entertainment. But there is the underlying story of maybe 2 people will fall in love and something great can come from this. So to know that more than half of the female contestants already have boyfriends, it definitely feels very disingenuous. So,
of course, and it takes away from other people wanting to truly find love. I mean, I'm not saying that the only reason why I'm going on is to find love. I tell people all the time, and I've said this from the get-go from being on The Bachelorette, that like the reason I go on the show is for fun, for an experience, because who doesn't want to, have that experience and meet girls and make people laugh on TV and then find love. But I'm not gonna lie and say I'm just going on to love. But can you imagine if I had a girlfriend and it's like obvious and everyone knows it and I'm going on it, just like, if that was me, I'd come across as like a slime bucket or, a man whore or, dirty boy, fuck boy or whatever you want to say,
Yeah, especially considering like whenever someone has had a boyfriend, whether going on to The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, or had like a significant other that they've left for the show, like the show has a spotlight on them. For instance, even with this last thing with DeMario. So it's crazy to me that they're not, if like we all know, but they're not going to acknowledge it on the show and just kind of let it slide.
Definitely. I mean, DeMario just got ripped apart pretty much on Rachel's season.
I feel so bad for the guy, man.
He's had a past couple weeks.
I would definitely countersue. I would sue for sure, 100%.
Why? Because he's painted.
His image is ruined. He's like, even though he's not like guilty or anything, but still, it's just like you ruined his image. He's associated with that in a negative image. It's horrible.
But you don't think that Corinne's image has been wronged as well? I mean, if she was like blackout drunk and couldn't consent to anything and all of a sudden found out that she was performing sexual acts with someone, and that all of a sudden all of America knows this and all of America is judging her, I mean, they're slut shaming her all over the place. Yeah. So I feel like she has every right too.
Not at all. Not in my opinion.
Really?
She's going on Paradise. She has a boyfriend. She's making with 4 or 5 dudes. What do you expect? I mean, that's what names you'll get when you do that sort of thing.
However, when alcohol is involved, like how much...
Alcohol is not an excuse. You can't, come on, you know that.
But people, honestly, if someone is too drunk to consent, then yes, then they're not supposed to be having sex. And they could, if they're having sex without giving consent, it is rape.
Of course, the thing. That wasn't the case here. That's not the case here.
Totally. From what we've heard, yes. I guess my question is, with the producer cast member relationship, when it comes to being in paradise, drinking, hooking up, where do you think the line should be drawn? If one person is too drunk, are the producers supposed to step in?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's really hard to say because some people are going to have different opinions about that. Some people will think, oh, you got to step in right away. And other ones like, no, they're fine. They didn't say no, or they're doing it, but they're maybe too drunk. But so some people like, oh, that's just an everyday life. That's normal. And other people like, no, because it depends on what you're experiencing, what you think is okay. So it's kind of a gray area, But that's life back outside of just on TV. That's back here where should I have slept with that person last night? I mean, I was too drunk. I can't remember. Whatever. It's one of those things that they'll never be able to get rid of it. I mean, because they'll never be able to get rid of alcohol. They'll never be able to get rid of sex. I mean, that's what the whole show is. No, that's not the whole show, but that's a big part of it, right?
Right. So there's been rumors that there was a storyline for Corinne and DeMario to be together during the show. That they both kind of knew about it, that the producers knew about it. And they were both, the villains, I guess you would say, from their seasons. So it's interesting to see 2 villains come together. And obviously none of this drama was probably intended. However, do you feel like the producers really weigh in on the storylines that are created and the couples that are manufactured through this experience?
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone has their own say. They can do it and say what they want. They're not forced to do anything they don't want to. They might. DeMario will be like, oh, and they might say to DeMario, I don't know, maybe you and Corinne might make a good couple. That's about it. At the end of the day, that's all there is.
So they're planting seeds and suggesting a little bit. Maybe,
but at the end of the day, it's like you can do whatever you want. I did what I want. I said what I want. I'm a grown up. I'm 32 years old. I'm not. If I was 10 years old and then obviously you could be influenced a lot easier, and it's definitely you could be like, oh, influence. Then it's more of a problem, but. Come on, we're all adults. At the end of the day, we do what we want,
So, though it is ultimately your decision, have you ever felt, whether it's been you or a cast member, have been in a situation where maybe the producers have tried to manipulate or try to push something, even though at the end of the day it's their choice?
I have no idea. Like, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. I know for the most part on Paradise, it's basically just cameras around and we're just hanging out. At the end of the day, that's what it is. We're just hanging out as normal. Like, it's just so like what it's like in real life for the most part. It's just hanging out, normal conversations, chit chat. You do go do interviews with producers and they ask you questions or whatever. But yeah, just cameraman walking around, filming you. People go on dates and you get filmed and stuff like that. It's not like do this, do that, say this, say that. It's not like that at all.
Do you think that the contestants have any input on what is actually aired? For instance, if
no. So no, you have no idea what's going to be aired. Like, so they just, and even the producers, I don't think do. I don't know. Obviously, the more high, if you're an executive producer, you might. But the editors and whoever's in charge there can air what they want. When you're a cast, you're just hanging out and just hope for the best. You could be made look good or bad, but obviously, if you're normal and you're good, I guess you're gonna most likely get a better edit than if you're an asshole the whole time and you're acting crazy, and it's hard for them to make you look good.
Do you think that because they are resuming filming, do you think they're going to start from when they started filming, cut that one part out, but actually acknowledge that it happened and then continue, or just start completely fresh?
I think they should start from fresh, just because I don't know, it'd be so. I mean, I don't know, it'd be kind of awkward, and do people talk about it? Do they air stuff? They're not. I don't think they'll definitely not air it. I think it's best to start from scratch, and they're only like 2 days into 1 day into it happened day one, I think, right?
Yeah, the reason why I'm wondering is because they're supposedly meeting all these people for the first time. So do you think it would feel weird to the audience to watch back all of these people meeting for the first time when we know they've already spent 2 days together without acknowledging the drama that went down with maybe Corinne not being there? I just feel like because of how big this has gotten, it would feel disingenuous if they honestly started completely fresh and pretended no one knew each other.
Well, they don't have to pretend that no one knows each other, but just people like, oh, I know, like when you're watching, you're like, oh, I know they already met because they're already filming. People don't have to pretend, but they can just start fresh, and like, I know it might not be as real as if it was like day one from like a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I really don't know. I have no clue. It's just I'm not a producer. I'm not the one to make in charge. I don't know what actually happens behind the scenes or what their idea is or what they want.
Will you be going to Bachelor in Paradise this season?
I have no idea.
Do you want to
a
go?
lot of people don't. Sorry?
Do you want to go?
I mean, who doesn't want to go on the beach and hang out? I think it'd be a great time.
For sure.
I like making people laugh on TV, and yeah, why not, right? There's always I'm single, so.
If you could choose any 3 female contestants that you for sure would want to be there to potentially date, who would you choose?
Well, it's funny because like, when I first was watching the show, I was like, oh, they're funny, but then you hear things and see things like after the show, and you're like, yeah, it kind of changed your mind.
Like who?
Well, at first I thought Alexis was kind of funny and attractive, but then I saw her, she was like supporting Chad at one point. I'm like, kidding, you're supporting Chad?
Chad Johnson?
Yeah.
Wait, but aren't you friends with Chad Johnson?
No, who said I was friends with Chad?
Well, I mean, it seemed like you were friendly with him on The Bachelorette, and even in Bachelor Paradise.
That was a year ago.
Okay.
That's what you saw on TV. I mean,
I'm not saying you guys go picnicking or shopping together, but I felt like you happened to be his one confidant on the show, like the only person who kind of had his back.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
So what went wrong with you and Chad's friendship?
Oh, just like, I talk to everyone. I mean, just because I talk to people doesn't mean I'm good buddies with them. And,
right.
We had some things in common, like, with like fitness, and we both weren't like jumping in love, and we're just kind of laid back. But, as time went on, I kind of started realizing, he's a little crazy. So, yeah, I mean, they can show whatever they want and edit, to make it look like certain other things. But, yeah, he was like, not many people wanted to talk to him or liked him, but I don't care. I'll talk to anyone and chit chat with anyone. But as time went on, he was starting a little crazy. But so at times he was kind of funny, but at other times it was just like you're shaking your head sort of thing. But I haven't spoken with him since like last year sometime.
Okay, but
yeah, no, I'm not buddies with him. I don't know anyone who speaks with him really.
Wow, yikes! Sucks to be Chad. But I guess Alexis supporting Chad was enough reason for you to not be interested in her anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to date someone that's into that. And then like, you know, she has a boyfriend and she wants to go on the show for fame, you know?
Right. Okay. So besides Alexis, what other
I like someone
contestants?
that's more genuine and down to earth and, you know, at least, I don't know, but maybe I haven't met her, so I can't really say, you know, I'm not saying she's a bad person, but just these are things that kind of are, you know, a turn off, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. No.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely can see that. So what about other specific contestants? If you had to list 3 that you have seen, have thought were cute, who would you like to meet in Paradise?
If I was going to Paradise.
If you were going to Paradise.
Danielle, the nurse, she's kind of cute.
Danielle M.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of cute. I only met her like for a second, one point, just walking by each other, and but she seems like a cool girl and laid back and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Lacey, I met her once. She's cool.
Lacey.
I meet her.
Okay, Lacey.
Lacey Mark, I think.
Okay.
Who else? The thing that's funny is like you see people on TV, and I know just because what you see on TV doesn't necessarily mean what they're like in person. So, you know, I want to give everyone a chance, right? So
you're open to any possibility.
Well, I mean, obviously not, you know, I mean, the girls with the boyfriends is kind of a turn off.
If you go to Paradise and you see these girls that have boyfriends, are you allowed to address the issue of them having a boyfriend, or do you kind of have to keep it quiet?
No, I mean, it's kind of open. I mean, it's kind of like, as in, it's like everyone kind of knows this. It's not like a secret. So, I mean, I can say something, but obviously they probably won't air it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, often I'll say stuff I know and it won't get aired because it's too controversial, it's too crazy, you know?
Has there been anything specific that you can remember that you've said that they have not aired because it was too controversial?
I don't know if I can talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that?
But like recently, I've done some shows where I was like said some stuff, and I'm like, but I knew for a fact they couldn't say anything. It was I don't know if I can say what show. I don't know if I can say what show it is yet.
Wait, I have a very specific question. Okay, I heard on a website that on this show you're not allowed to say the word process in interviews, and if you say like, "Oh, I'm not enjoying this process," or I can't wait to go through this process, they make you change it to journey. Is this true?
Never heard that. Never heard that.
I read it
like,
online.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, yeah, what do you hear? Like, I was there. I was on Bachelor in Paradise, and yeah, I never like. I was at Paradise for the whole thing almost, and basically there's no rules as in things you can't do and say. I mean, obviously it's just like the real world where you can't, you can't obviously assault someone and that sort of stuff. You know, just like and if you do, you go to jail or you get in trouble. But there's not like you have to do this or do that. You can't do this and that.
So from what we understand, there's one producer, or at least a team of producers, who follow each contestant. Is that true? Are you assigned to your own producer?
Everyone, no. The producers hang out. You interview and whoever you want with. You can just, okay, let's go. You want to go for an interview? Sure. Let's go. You know, it's not like you have one set to each person. No.
Have you ever seen the show Unreal?
I saw 5 minutes of it. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't want to watch this because I'm like, I don't know, kind of silly for me, but
did it feel too real?
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting, because on that show, they have like certain producers assigned to originally like multiple women or multiple guys, because there's so many of them. But then it goes down to them being assigned to one girl because apparently they get bonuses if that girl wins.
Never heard that. Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so there's no bonuses if a producer can get you to say the most controversial thing or get you to fall in love.
I never heard that. I've never heard that ever. No.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think that the stories would be changed if there was guys who we found out had multiple guys who had girlfriends and they were coming on Paradise as opposed to the girls having boyfriends?
Would the story change? Like,
I mean, do you think they would be allowed? I feel like the guys would, like you said before, be, perceived as like creeps, like as jerks. Like, why are they coming on here if they have girlfriends? However, we all know that these girls have boyfriends, and were more than willing to watch them.
Yeah, I don't know how viewers would perceive them or producers would allow it. Yeah, I really have no idea. I mean, I don't know if there's a double standard, but you think that people of both genders would get criticized equally. Yeah, I don't know if any of these the guys have girlfriends or not. I don't pay attention. I haven't watched the season at all, actually. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you'd hope. I mean, I think personally that if it was like one girl or one guy who had a significant other back home, that they would make it a storyline in the show to be like, oh, you need to go home. Like, we heard you had a girlfriend, to make more drama. But I think because so many people have boyfriends, they can't acknowledge it because that ruins their show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that might be true. Yeah, for sure. But what happened with? Was it Tomorrow this season that had a girlfriend?
Yeah, Lexi. I mean, apparently he like ghosted his ex-girlfriend 3 days before coming on the show. And the reason that she found out was because he ended up coming on the show when they did After the Final Rose. They just had a few contestants come on and introduce themselves to Rachel. So it definitely... He was criticized for sure. I mean, it's not been a good month for Demario. Oh, we can leave it at that.
No, but here's the thing. Like, all of the girls' boyfriends know they're going into paradise and have some sort of agreement. If this girl
good boyfriend, eh? These guys are great guys.
Right? But I think if Demario's girl knew...
I'm going to bang your girlfriend. Thanks, buddy.
Would you be okay with letting your girlfriend, or do you think if you had a girlfriend, she'd be okay with letting you go on?
Okay, like, let me think. So let's say I had a girlfriend and I said we were together for a year or two, and then this thing came, then Paradise came up, and she wanted to go on it because it was her dream to go on reality TV, but she didn't end up hooking with anyone. Then yeah, I'd be fine with that. But obviously I wouldn't want her going around hooking up with dudes and whatnot.
I find it very hard to say that you're going to go on the show and not hook up with anyone. Like, that's kind of the basis of the show. So how do these girls expect that to happen? And maybe they're not having sex with these guys, but I think almost every couple at least makes out you're going on dates with people.
Well, of course, yeah, I know. And people really, sometimes it seems like they're really they kiss so fast, and it's like, it seems like they're trying to do, I don't know if they're trying to do for TV or what, but, or they're desperate to be in a relationship, but it seems like they're kissing, like some people are kissing left, right, and center. I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was done.
They're like, listen, you can make out with anyone, but just no tongue and it'll be fine.
It's going to be fine.
Crazy, yeah, no, I'm curious what these guys, the boyfriends, are thinking.
Is there anything we don't know that goes on in Bachelor in Paradise or The Bachelorette? Like something that maybe the Bachelor Nation doesn't know about, like a fun fact, or?
You know, to be honest, there's nothing really hidden. It seems like as the years have gone by, especially in the last year with social media and people doing interviews like myself and whatnot, and it's just like there's nothing really hidden. It's like it is what it is. People, is this scripted? It's like, well, I'm not. None of us are actors. None of us read lines. None of us. We have no idea what goes behind. We don't have no idea what's going on. We're just, like I said a million times, and the Paradise is basically you just hang out on the beach and stationary cameras, and there's cameramen just filming, and whatever happens. People hook up. People date each other. Obviously, there's gonna be drama because there's different personalities and different situations, and someone comes in and takes my girlfriend on a date. There might be some, issues, but whatever.
But with that said, there is a wake-up call, right? Or, is there a time you start filming and a time you stop filming?
Every day is different, but yeah, one of the hardest things for me being on the show was the lack of sleep. I like my 8 hours, I like to have my energy throughout the day and feel good. I don't take naps. I'm not a baby or 9 years old, and I don't like to rely on caffeine. So, often we're up at 7, 8 o'clock because, they want to film or people got to go on dates or you got to do interviews, and then they don't want you going to bed at 10 p.m. because again there's stuff we got to do and whatnot. So you're up until 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning depending on what kind of stuff it is. So lack of sleep was definitely my hardest thing.
I have a question from last season of Bachelor in Paradise. So when Nick and Jen, when it went to that scene, the last episode where he had to break up with her, did you hear anything about them continuing to date after the show?
No, I didn't know. I didn't hear anything. Did you? What did you hear?
I heard via like other castmates talking about it, Jen kind of throwing shade that they continued to date. So I wondered what had gone on, if they really broke up, if it was for the show, for more drama, because then all of a sudden Nick was the Bachelor. So I was wondering if
That was crazy.
you knew
That was curveball.
That was.
I mean, it was. Yeah, from what we understood is that they were dating up until he was announced that he was going to be the Bachelor, and then he was like, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea about that anyway. I have no idea. Yeah.
You were in Bachelor in Paradise with Carly and Evan, and they just got married this past week.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I saw. Yeah.
So,
they seem happy. You know, it's that's why it's good that Paradise is back on, because relationships like that can happen and form, and so I'm glad that it's happened. Supposedly going back on, because more relationships and finding your girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever you're into is one of the best things in life, I guess. I'm single, but what people tell me.
Do you think it's easier to fall in love on Bachelor in Paradise than it is on The Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Oh yeah, for sure, hands down. Because first off, when I was on Bachelorette, you have one girl. I mean, I had no idea who she was, because I never watched the previous season, and I didn't know anything about the girl. And so I'm just going into some random girl, and there's 25 guys trying to get with one girl who I might not be into. I might be like, oh, she's ugly, or maybe I don't like her personality. So it's totally, up in there. And then she's got to choose you back, and you both have to fall in love. So it's definitely better in Paradise. And also, you don't get that much time with her over the time, because she's going on a date here, one-on-one here, a couple group date here, and things are jumping around. While Paradise, you're just hanging out on the beach and on the resort with 10 other girls, and so you get 10 choices, not just one, and plus you get a lot more time with them, so you definitely have a better chance of falling in love on Paradise for sure.
I hear in the Bachelorette you're not allowed to bring, obviously your phone, books, computers, any kind of technology, any way to entertain yourself, truly. So what did you, I know in Paradise, you're drinking, you're out by the ocean, you're hanging out with all different people, not just a bunch of guys. But on the Bachelorette, what did you do for fun when you were at the house? Yeah,
so I can't remember. I was at the mansion for two weeks maybe, and we went on I went on a couple of 2 or 3 group dates. So that was every 3 or 4 days. There was a couple. I mean, obviously you have rose ceremonies as well, so we had those. Bunch of interviews, but for the most part, it was just a lot of eating actually, and sitting around, chit chatting, hanging out in the pool, working out. Those are probably those 3 things, because there's nothing else really to do.
I heard about the famous snack drawer that's apparently in the Bachelor Mansion. What is in that snack drawer?
I don't know the famous snack drawer, but there basically you can ask for any food you want. Like, you have to make your own food, but anything you want, they'll bring it in, which is good, because that way they make you happy, and it's nice to have. It's nice. You don't have to buy groceries. You don't have to worry about money. Just I want that.
So you can request a ribeye or something?
Sorry?
You can request a ribeye or something?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Anything you want.
Wow. Like ice cream? Any kind of ice cream?
Oh, yeah. Any sort of candy. We loved Quest bars. So we had so many Quest bars. I was going, because they're expensive back home here. They're like $4 a piece. So I was having 3 a day.
You're like, yes, add this to my tab, please.
Yeah, it's funny. In Paradise, same thing. I think when I was going home, I was joking around with some of the guys. I'm like, I'd take some home with me,
That's so funny.
I'm going to move in. That's great. Awesome. I'll be there next season. I'll be in the kitchen.
Well, I mean, this whole experience has been even more exciting for the viewers, and I feel like part of me honestly thinks, and I know this is a conspiracy theory, but I really feel like all this was manufactured by ABC to get more viewers for this season of Bachelor in Paradise.
It's funny. Someone else mentioned that, not a cast member, just a friend of mine. Like, I wonder, but I'm like, oh man, I just said to myself, that's too much, that's too much of a plan. Plus, it pushes the production back, and I feel like they lose money flying people in and out.
Yes.
But yeah, can you imagine? It's definitely going to help, bringing in more viewers for sure. Maybe, I don't know, might double it.
I think it will definitely double it. People who have never even heard of Bachelor in Paradise are now probably so intrigued to see what happens, and to especially see how they handled this whole situation.
Yeah.
I know exactly. But I mean, to make this sort of thing, it's one thing to have someone got there was a fight, you know, because whatever, sexual assault is serious, you know. It's like,
no, it is definitely.
That's a bad thing to joke or make a thing about, you know. Or it's so obviously that'd be pretty twisted, right?
Well,
but like say there was a fight between cast members and there was too much blood everywhere, and they had to shut it down and clean it up for a bit, you know.
Right. Well, even if ABC didn't manufacture it, because I know that is a huge long shot, I do think that for something that became such a serious story where lawyers were involved, where sexual assault was discussed, for it to all of a sudden be over in 10 days, it just seems too soon for me.
No, I don't think it's too soon. I think it could have been over in less.
You think so?
Oh, it could have been over in a day. All they have to do is show the videotape and say, "Oh, this is what happened. Look at, they're involved and they're having a good time and everything's good. All it takes is 1 hour."
But if that's true, then why did they stop filming?
Well, that's the thing, and that's what people are curious about, because maybe, you know, I don't really know. I don't know what to say.
Well, I think that honestly we just have to wait and see what happens. ABC and Warner Brothers said they will not be releasing the tape, but like you said before,
you can't release that. That's horrible. You know?
It is horrible. However, like you said before, Reality Steve has some crazy way of finding out the truth to stories.
Seriously.
I think that there's more to this story. I don't think it's quite over yet.
I agree. Corinne hasn't spoken out.
People kind of want to know, you know.
Definitely. Definitely. Daniel, I hope we get to see you on this season of Bachelor in Paradise, and I hope you find love.
Yeah, and if you're ever in LA, come on our show.
I'm in LA all the time. I've been there I think 13 times in the last year.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. So now you have to come in.
Next time we expect a phone call. Thank you so much for joining us. Daniel, where can everyone find you and follow you on social media?
My Instagram is Daniel Sean Maguire. I don't use Snapchat because Instagram does basically the same sort of thing. Twitter, I find out so much work, you know. Yeah, but the main thing is probably Instagram, Daniel Sean Maguire, and everything's kind of linked there anyways, so.
All right, so you guys go follow Daniel on Instagram. Hopefully we'll see him on this season of Bachelor in Paradise. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to have you in studio soon.
All right, take care, ladies.
All right, bye, Daniel.
Bye.
And you guys, I mean, Renee, this to me, it doesn't sound like it's over. I can't wait to continue discussing the whole Bachelor in Paradise scandal and obviously The Bachelorette as well.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get Corinne's statement. I'm ready for the next statement to come out.
Well, you guys, we'll be back on Tuesday night this week, not Monday. We'll be discussing the next 2 episodes of The Bachelorette, and hopefully we'll have more info for you. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.